Dennis Weaver with Friday Night Thunder. We're talking to Walt Smith. He is the head coach of the Giles County Bobcats. And Walt, first of all, in terms of full disclosure, we're recording this on a Monday afternoon because after I talked to you at the game Saturday, I deleted the interview. Darn.
That's all right, no problem at all.
I appreciate you give me a second chance, giving me a mulligan, and maybe I'll ask some better questions. I don't know. You've had a couple days to think it over to the Fulton game on Saturday afternoon. Regrets right now? Any regrets, things that you wish you'd have done different?
Well, you always look back and say maybe we could have done this, could have done that, but at the end of the day, I felt like they were the better football team Saturday. They were a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, a little bit faster, and made a few more plays than we did. I felt like once we got it back in close, there were a couple of plays that they made that kind of stretched it back open. A couple of plays that we missed that were big, and the ball got rolling the wrong way. I don't feel like the score was indicative of how the game had went, but in the end, they outplayed us that day, and the final scores were kind of irrelevant. They had more than we did, and that's all that mattered.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about it then. Let's break it down a little bit more. You had a turnover on your first drive. I think it was Ordway that fumbled a ball. A pretty good hit, but did you feel like that maybe the early jitters, you had 3 turnovers in the first half, maybe some jitters on some of the Bobcats?
Well, it was Harrison on the first drive, and he told me today it was the hardest he'd ever been hit in his life. Just kind of jarred the ball loose. He was trying to jump over a guy, getting the first down. It was one of those effort mistakes. Guy his head hit right on the ball. But honestly, it's easy to say the jitters, but I felt like our kids were ready to play. And we moved the ball at times. I think at halftime we were pretty even in yardage with them. We just had the turnovers, and we knew going in we couldn't turn the ball over against a team like them because they all year long in the films that we had seen and stuff. Every time a team turned the ball over against them, they capitalized. They do a great job of throwing that dagger and keeping momentum on their side.
Hey, I'm gonna get you a chance to get in trouble here with some other coaches. You played CPA this year. You played Ensworth this year. You played Fulton this year. Is Fulton as good as those other two teams, or better than those other two teams?
I kind of answered this question to somebody else Saturday. It's hard to say who's better. I know a lot of teams match up differently, playing people different times in the year. But I think all 3 of those teams are about as good as anybody in the state. Obviously, Rollins Davis didn't get to play against us, so it's hard to gauge how good they are with him or without him. But I definitely think Fulton's as good as anybody, and also Ensworth and CPA is probably right up there with them.
All right, you came out in the second half. You put Kenton Baker, the playmaker, in the Bobcat formation, and that first drive, 9 plays, all runs. You get a touchdown, and then force the punt. You had to be feeling good right then, didn't you?
Yeah, we kind of grabbed momentum and got it back on our side right there. Kenton made some really good plays. We kind of got them in a little extra unbalanced set, had them outnumbered to one side, and we were able to get it in the first half, and Kenton just gave us a little extra speed back there to get to the corner like we were trying to, and capitalized on that. And then our defense, I felt like our defense played really well all day. We put them in some bad spots. A couple times during the game, offensively turned the ball over. I felt like Coach Barger had them going, had them dialed up, looking good. But we had momentum there. We get the stop and then get the ball back, and then they get the big personal foul, face mask penalty, and the next play, Ordway breaks a long one, and we cut it to 6. And things are rolling pretty good. I told somebody today it was probably the highest 15 minutes of a coaching career, and then possibly the lowest 15 minutes followed that. So. Kind of definitely a spill of emotions there.
Yeah, and then what really you got them? They had a pretty good kickoff return, but you were kind of bottling them up. You had them 3rd and 7 on the 39, I guess it was, and they get the pass over the top, I think down to the 1, and punch it in, and that kind of opened the floodgates, didn't it?
Yeah, and looking back after watching film of that play, that was one of those plays. Where Penny Smith just basically stepped up and showed the kind of player he is. We had the blitz dialed up. The guy come untouched through the middle, and he stepped right into the throw and took one on the chin and delivered a strike to a guy that was had a DB actually draped all over him. Malik Lawrence was draped all over the guy, and it was just a great throw and catch and a great play. And, you know, again, that's what Fulton seems to do all year. When they need that play, they do a great job making it no matter what the level of their opponent. And hats off to them. They made it Saturday, too.
I talked to Coach Black also after the game. I didn't delete his interview, by the way, but which is good because I don't have his phone number. But when we talked about that, they got 5 touchdowns in the next 6 possessions, and the drive lengths were a minute, the pick 6 by the D lineman, 49 seconds, and 14 seconds on the first 4 of those touchdowns. I asked him, I said, when momentum came to your sideline, your kids ate it up, and is that what you felt like too?
I did, and, you know, they've done a good job of that all year, and I felt like we kind of did that getting back in the game. Our kids kind of did that too when we got back in the game there and cut it 20-14. We had momentum, and our kids were kind of feeding on it, and I felt like they were, you know, reeling a little bit. We scored to cut it to 20-14, then they have to come out and take a timeout on first down because they can't get lined up, and you know, I felt like we had all the momentum, but then when the Smith kid made the play across the middle, it was just it was one of those plays that swung momentum back to them, and they were able to capitalize. And then once after the pick 6, I think it took a lot of air out of our kids. You know, I still felt like they were fighting hard until that point, but after that point, it took a lot of air out of us. You know, they fought hard the whole night, but it definitely, you could see a change in our kids' spirits after that play.
Well, yeah, and it definitely ramped up Fulton's spirit. They were really, they were like sharks feeding at that point, I thought.
It was, they were.
All right, let's talk about progress of your program. You took over late. You got your assistants in really in July. You didn't get a whole lot of 7-on-7 work with various things coming up. You started out really slow with the scrimmages. Talk about how proud you are of these kids for how far they've come.
Just unbelievably proud. You know, they basically went without a coach from late February until 1st of May. They were just kind of in limbo. Just had to basically, you know, motivate themselves. There wasn't anything holding anything to them. And the seniors, this senior bunch, just really stepped up, and I can't say enough about them. Their work ethic and stuff it's definitely a foundation. You know, the winning tradition's been laid. Giles County's been a winning program for a while, but the foundation of what we try to do and doing things the right way and building character and things like that, I think the senior class has laid a great foundation for that.
It was a cold, miserably cold day, but you had a big crowd from Pulaski there. Talk about the support that the folks at Pulaski have given you all season long.
Unbelievable support. I can't say enough. The way they take care of our guys, they're so. You know, I tell them all the time they're unbelievably spoiled. The way they feed us throughout the week, and I can't say enough about the crowd that goes with us. You know, I'm sure not all of them left happy. I'm sure not all of them left happy Saturday, but. You know, that's going to happen, and hopefully we can keep them happy more than they're not happy.
Well, I think you definitely did that. Walt, if you ever need a coaching job, I got a bunch of programs that I know would love to have you, my friend. But I think you got a good thing going down there in Pulaski.
Well, I appreciate it, and I think we do too. I'm definitely not looking to go anywhere, and I hope I can stay here for a long time.
Walt, I appreciate it as always. Thank you so much for doing this again, and I hope I asked some better questions this time.
I think it went great.
That's Walt Smith, Giles County.